Welcome back again to some 0K action. It's going to be a team game on the small Supreme Battlefield map, and yeah, last time we had a hell of a game on it. This time we're going to have a hell of a lot more people on it. Let's see how that works out. So we'll just skip the pre-game chatter. Plenty of people playing, that's for sure. Multiple people in the water, and okay, there we go. So we got top right team versus bottom left team. Looks like I'm going to be in the top right team. Not really sure what was happening there, but oh, okay, he actually spawned in the water for some reason. Smart look, not bad. And yeah, looks like we're going to have a dual naval for our opponents at the bottom left, and as for the top right, we actually got dual naval as well, so nothing too surprising there. On the bottom right, we do have a burp going for shipyard, amphibious for Manu 12, and hovercraft for Pinot, so yeah, very diverse indeed. We'll just have to see how that works out. I think I actually just rushed those two skaters by the looks of it. And yeah, looks like they're going to engage our stuff mostly one-on-one anyway. I actually do have a hunter out. The thing is, I should not have gotten the hunter at all. I only got the hunter in case if they were going for amphibious, which actually was still a possibility, but after seeing, you know, one skeeter from two players, usually the odds of someone going for amphibious will probably not be that great, although as I say that, we actually do have 3 players in the water here, and one of them has gone for amphibious, so whatever, we'll see what happens. In case we've got ships on the top left. The skeeter is going to be a pain in the ass. Where is this commander? Oh, okay. Well, he's only level 0, mine is level 1 though, which means he can actually do a bit of damage with his torpedoes. Got a hunter bizarre now actually for Grolio X, and that's not quite the right response to have at all, to say the least. But what the hell, I suppose they do outrange the skeeters by quite a bit, but yeah, now the Typhoon's coming in, and the commander for Snack, which is now level 2, probably going to give us a bit of a hard time to say the least, especially since he's got damage boosters for his torpedo, which is just freaking dandy. Actually, some sonar probably would not hurt at all, which hopefully I will be building. Okay, maybe I'll not be building it. Well, that's just great. In any case, we definitely need some stuff to screen the hunters, and we definitely need some sonar as well. There we go, finally building a sonar in front of the mechs. And speaking of what's happening elsewhere, in the middle, nothing much happening there, just a couple of gathering units, bandits versus glaives, shield bots versus cloakies in the middle by the looks of it. At the bottom right though, we actually got the opponents going for, so let's see, ships, hovercraft, and more ships with some early submarines coming out as well, so see how that works out. Let's see, okay, interesting. Well, in any case, the sonar station has been built, and apparently that actually floats on the surface, which is just freaking great. Well, in any case, you can spot everything. We actually got a radar tower, bizarre enough, being built for the opponents rather than sonar station, but it doesn't really matter anyway, we'll be able to spot them. Nonetheless, the only problem is though, we don't really have much to engage them with. I threw away one of my, I think that was my torpedo guy, yep, the hunter, being thrown away there. Pretty bad play by myself, if I do say so, and this guy will definitely be able to beat my commander, to say the least. This is that guy, he's even morphing a 3rd time, probably to get more torpedoes and all that. Sucks very much so for my commander, but oh, what can you do? And there goes the sonar station. So they've definitely got us cornered on the top though. Middle, not much is happening. We actually do have, oh never mind, we actually do have shield bots from Sino and shield bots from Regos as well. So yeah, we'll have a combination of shield bots and cloakies engaging each other in the middlemost point. A couple of glaives coming in as well. They should try to sneak under the shields actually rather than attacking out of the shields. I mean, they are freaking raider bots, so they can stick under the shields if need be, and that's pretty easy to do so, but whatever. I mean, the Fuggles will get taken out nonetheless, so securing an Ustra victory for us in the middle. Opponents are going to be replying with a quick Faraday, and probably a couple of other defensive turrets as well, but we'll get an extra mechs, which is better than nothing. The battle for the top left, top left, still ranges on though. To have a sub coming in trying to do a bit of damage with a couple of shadows, but it's probably a case of too little too late really. Their forces are pretty damn heavy. Wait a minute. The hell is... I thought that was... Oh, wait a minute. Okay, yeah, that is... Oh, okay, I think he bombed one of the enemy's things there. Wasn't really paying too much attention. Huh. Okay, he's bombing these support structures. He should be bombing the offensive forces. If he was doing that, we might have actually had a chance. Maybe. Just maybe. Probably not much of a chance, but it would have been better than nothing. Well, whatever, let's see what's happening on the bottom right. Bottom right staying pretty heavily contested, neither side really gaining too much of an advantage over the other, despite the fact the enemy team does have more factories in general here. So despite that, we're actually still doing a pretty good job beating the crap out of them. And these hunters are definitely going to be very much useless against the scrubbers, but at the same time they kind of needed it against our amphibious units, like the scallop and the duck and all that, so, well, what can you do? Unfortunately, we are going to be beaten in the top left though when it comes to naval, so we're definitely going to be basically handing that to our opponents, which kind of sucks, but well, you do also got napalm burning on water, which I think is actually possible in real life, because of the way that napalm works. It just keeps on burning regardless. Or at least I think that's how it works. Well, whatever. In any case, yeah, a couple of corvettes trading shots, nothing too fancy there, a couple of submarines from our opponents trying to do a bit of damage. Thankfully, our scrubbers, our attack hovercraft will be able to, well, basically dodge the snipers, oh sorry, not the snipers, the snakes, pretty nicely at the same time that they cannot attack the snakes, which kind of sucks. I think bombers can though, I think the precision bombers can. The napalm bombers, I think the flames just float on the surface. Well, in any case, yeah, Znaki is going to be... Actually, is he on our team? No, I think he's on the enemy team. Yeah. Yeah, he's going to be expanding, securing the top left, basically. And, oh well, that's that. I guess the top left is going to be lost for a time. We've actually got... really? Okay. Interesting. Got another pier being built, or pier being built by the rector, presumably, just to create an urchin. Interesting. He doesn't have any submersible units on the top left, so I'm not really sure what was the point of building this thing on land, but well, whatever. In any case, we are going to be fortifying, except for these gaps here in our lines, but we are going to be fortifying the top left, and yeah, just trying to dig in as much as possible. I believe I'll be... I should still be... Oh, okay, good, yeah, I'm asking for a constructor now, not bad. Well, in any case, while that's happening, let's have a look at what's happening bottom right. Halberds are very interesting units. They're basically like assault units, except they don't really do that much damage, but when they're not firing, they sort of clamp up and they get like, I think the damage that's inflicted on them is reduced to 1/4 or 1/3 of what it used to be, so yeah, I guess they're called blockade runners rather than assault units for a reason, but I suppose you could say they function much like assault units, if I do say so. We are definitely starting to get a bit of naval supremacy on the bottom right, just like how they're starting to get on the top left, although yeah, they're kind of slightly ahead of us because they really do have pretty much the whole top left, while we're only just now trying to, wow, push forward on the bottom right here. Actually, I did say top left before, didn't I? I think I did, yes. In any case, yeah, we're going to be pushing... oh, there we go, yeah, they did destroy the submarines pretty easily. I'll be damned. Okay, so there we go, something useful to know. Wait, what does this guy have? Torpedo energy cell. Where the hell do those drones come from then? From this guy, maybe? Okay, then. Companion drones. So apparently those drones... Because I was wondering about that, apparently the drones can actually spawn from the commander, presumably. Yeah, I think that one that just did spawn, actually. They can spawn from the commander even if they're underwater. That's very useful to know indeed. So in any case, yeah, we're definitely trying everything we can to capture the bottom left, the bottom right, but our opponents definitely are making it very hard. They do have some rather interesting support units. They probably could do with a few more Typhoons to screen though, because as you can see, yeah, this sort of stuff is kind of vulnerable to getting rushed. I mean, they do have a sonar station, Urchin, and what appears to be, okay, just a Lotus, but nothing really too heavy in terms of Typhoons, and if we had a couple of Typhoons we'd probably be able to destroy them relatively easily, or rather we would be able to if it wasn't for rather annoying submarines. We do have a sonar station to spot, so we should hopefully have some bombers going after the submarine to take them out. I'm surprised actually that rather interesting. Okay then. Okay then, well, very interesting use of our own heavier naval craft as well, actually. And we've even got shields being projected by Manu 12. Interesting indeed. So yeah, I mean, Crusader's definitely very hardy, as you can see. Very hardy and long range, well, actually not that hardy, but long ranged fire support vehicles in either case. But they definitely do not fare very well when they're actually getting attacked. They definitely need Typhoons to be covering, and as you can see, the shots do sort of arc a bit to reflect the fact that they're supposed to be firing over other units rather than on their own like this. But I suppose the shield from Manu 12 is sort of helping keep them alive, unlike the enemy. So unfortunately, though, yeah, the shield's pretty much pretty much depleted, and indeed, yeah, the warning to not go too far probably should be one to heed, to say the least. A couple of these Crusaders could actually do with some repairs. In fact, Manu 12, his commander, could do with some repairs. There goes one of the Crusaders, I believe, and probably should be retreating and repairing. In fact, actually, his commander's right there, so he could repair these ships relatively easily, actually. And wow, he does actually manage to keep his comm alive just as well, because it is level 5, so very significant amount of metal being invested. We'll just see what's happening elsewhere. We actually do have crap loads of fighters fighting other fighters, a bit of a... Whoa, okay, so Avengers just flying around, doing a bit of damage. Enemy is trying to come in with... Actually, wait a minute, are those? No, never mind, there's subs, Phoenixes, Silk. Huh, interesting. Well, Leaf from the... by the looks of it. I think so. Oh no, actually no, we have got Lift there as well. Okay, never mind. He actually has got crap loads of Avengers now that I think of it. Probably could do with a few more Vamps to help establish air superiority, but oh well. What can you do? Now we've got a nice little skirmish war basically between longer range naval vessels. I'm still surprised we're not seeing any corvettes. I mean, they really do remain pretty useful throughout the game, really. Cost for cost, they can take out Crusaders relatively easily. Even battleships, I'm pretty sure cost for cost, that is, they can take them out efficiently. Of course, one-on-one, the battleship beats them, but the battleship is pretty expensive, and really just mass up the... Whoa, okay then. Just mass up the corvettes that much more easily, and they'll be attacking battleships from multiple directions. Interesting use of Avengers, actually, basically boosting them in and taking out Banshees, but losing crap loads of them in the process. Not exactly very cost effective. In fact, we could do with more anti-air frigates, actually, so I'm not sure what the hell's happening there. In any case, I actually do have a my own factory plant set up, thankfully. A couple of hovercraft going to be sent out, halberds going to be running the blockade, as it were, followed closely by riot hovers. Not really sure where my longer ranged hovers are, but in any case, I'm trying to push out. So is my ally Regos. He does have a very nice penetrator set up, and he might actually be able to take out these ships with relative ease as long as he keeps them at maximum range. Actually, he does have longer range than the Crusaders do. He'll be able to take out a few units here and there, but at the same time, yeah, these scrubbers coming in by the... Actually, wait a minute, is that from our opponents? Yep, it is from Killer. Yeah, pretty much be able to ward it off the penetrator. It does manage to survive though, which is pretty important, because these things are pretty fragile and pretty bloody expensive as well, for that matter. So I think, yeah, this tech switch to hovercraft might just be what we need to save the day. Commander's still continuing to project his shield out. We have a couple of more maces in case they try to swarm us, I guess. Although I think Typhoons still should be alright versus them, although, okay, with penetrator support and all that, probably not. They're hardy, but it's kind of the exact thing that the penetrators are good at. Ah well, what can you do? Yeah, Grolio's also got his own shielded commander as well, and I've got a couple more units coming out for myself. A couple of raiders, a couple of halberds, a couple of maces, nothing too fancy. I think I'm trying to get him into the position to attack this army sort of from the flank, actually, rather than attacking them all on head-on. Isn't quite working out too well, but what is working out very well is actually me whittling down this scrubber count with my maces, so good job indeed to me, if I do say so. Looks like they got a sniper submarine, which is just freaking dandy. Where the hell is it? Let's see, here it is. So what is the range on this thing? Wow, it's pretty significant to say the least. Maybe the hover vehicles might just be the thing that saves the day, actually. Although it's not like as if we can't just detect it with Wait a minute, are these things actually stealth? No, I don't think they are. So we can actually still detect it with the sonar, which we've got right here actually. So we can detect it, we just need to bomb it. And look at that, just as I say that, we actually do have Sab coming in to bomb the snot out of it most likely. No, he's actually bombing the other snakes instead. Huh. Okay, there we go, now he's going for the other submarines too. Too bad he didn't just go straight for the serpents, that would have been a much better target to take out, although yeah, it is a bit further in enemy territory now, and it actually can take 2 bomb hits though, so apparently a third one would have taken it out, but wow, it can actually take loads of damage being a freaking submarine. You'd think its hull would have collapsed and water would have basically poured in and destroyed it utterly, but indeed. Oh well, what can you do? What can you do indeed? So quite the little ball of units they have there, and the way to break it probably would be, well, let's see. We've got serpents and all that. We've got enforcers. Damn it, we've got shredders. Actually, no, wait a minute. That's one thing we don't have though. They don't have, should I say, is they don't really have too much in terms of anti-riot units. So if we sent in a whole bunch of scrubbers, that might, and with a couple of those tachyon projector thingy-majingies, the I can't remember what the hell they are. You know what I mean. Here we go, the penetrators. To act as support, maybe that'll be able to... Huh. Oh well, so much for that. Maybe they might be able to do something, but in any case, so what's happening here actually, yeah, apparently the bottom right is... indeed. Bottom right is doing a bit badly, but at the same time the top left is not doing too badly at all. These scrubbers actually not doing such a bad job taking out the gunship, and I might actually be able to secure the top left, or at the very least to be a pain in the ass for our opponents. We'll see what happens though. This massive amount of scrubbers is going to have a hard time dealing with this many Avengers, although actually yeah, they definitely will have a very hard time. We definitely need to retreat there. Hoping to have some anti-air hovers coming in very soon. A bit of a mistake on mine and Rego's and on Gravebeard's, sorry, Greybeard's, not Gravebeard's, behalf, not sending any anti-air at all. Still continuing to produce some different sorts of hovercraft, but no anti-air, which really sucks to say the least. These guys trying to do a bit of damage, but unfortunately the those sorts of numbers being whittled down by enemy aircraft as well are just going to get destroyed by all those typhoons, which kind of sucks, or typhoons. But oh well, what can you do? Also got the opponents trying to home in on us on the top right with a whole bunch of halberds of all things. Crusaders should have no trouble taking them out, but at the same time though, the halberds, they're not exactly pushovers either. They don't do much damage, but they can take a bit of damage, and at the same time in numbers, as you can see, they can deal a bit of damage as well. So, and really versus Crusaders, which are supposed to be firing over other stuff anyway, they're kind of going to do pretty damn well. And speaking of which, we actually do have our first super weapon being built, the Starlight. Wait a minute, or is that the enemy team actually? Oh no, that's the enemy team that's building it. There we go, the Starlight. Shining bright by a fire stab, of course. It's going to take a bit of a while, but still it's going to, well, it'll be pretty disastrous for us if we actually... oh my god, that's good. Anyway, pretty disastrous for us if we let them build it. At the same time though, we also do have a couple of other mega units being built. The aircraft carrier for Goad being built, along with the fancy schmancy drones, which... not really sure. Oh, there they are, there we go. A couple of little helicopters spawning in. And it can service regular aircraft, and it acts as an anti-nuke as well, I mean. And it has a bombardment missile too. I mean, look at this thing. Bloody ridiculous. I mean, granted, its anti-nuke radius isn't exactly great, but it's only really meant to defend naval units anyway, so... there you go, there you go. Indeed. So I'm definitely still trying to push in these ducks. I have to admit, very good surprise duck rush actually. I'm not seeing any anti-sub units at all. Finally we have one hunter, but it's not really going to be able to do too much, but yeah, good use of the duck rush there. Quack quack, doing quite a bit of damage. But yeah, once the hunters come in sizable numbers, that'll probably be it for the ducks, and they outrange the ducks as well, and I think they actually move faster than the ducks. The bottom right, at the very least, seems to have mostly stabilised. We actually managed to make a doomsday machine of all things, and we're going to be building, really, build fusion reactors underwater apparently, and this one should be relatively safe, and with little walls around it and all that, so there we go. So that's just to power this thing presumably. unfortunately it is going to take loads of damage, including a bit of damage from... damn it. Ah, there it is, the penetrator shooting at it, so it's going to unfortunately get taken out. Wow, this thing can actually take a bit of damage, actually. Give them that. Bam. Holy crap. Okay, I've underestimated this thing, I'll admit. Too bad it doesn't have any power to it. Otherwise, wow, it really could actually do quite a bit of damage if it had power to it. And if it was being repaired as well, actually, that would be pretty nice. In any case, we do have a fusion reactor finally. But unfortunately, Doomsday Machine does go down. That really sucks. It's probably going to get reclaimed by the enemy as well, and then goes the rest of our forces. Fusion Reactor is still going to survive, most likely. I wonder if our opponents are going to try to just hammer at the walls and then hammer at their Fusion Reactor. I've got no idea. Shredder's doing everything they can against the drones, and really we just got all-out battle happening all over the place. The Starlight is a couple of minutes, well, several minutes away still from being constructed. Do we have any super weapons of our own? Well, there we go. It looks like Rapozk is considering it on our team, but we don't actually have anything of our own just yet when it comes to supers. We'll see what happens. We do have our own anti-nuke at the very least. Just one, but it should cover most of... Oh, actually, wait a minute. Yeah, they have their own anti-nuke, which is being constructed, but it should cover most of the base here, although yeah, we probably should build a second one just to cover that as well, but what can you do? Top left is finally going to hopefully be seized by us. We've got crap loads of scalpels by falling snow coming in. Actually, is that falling snow? Yes, falling snow. A couple of halberds for some reason being sent by myself. My forces have really been depleted time and time again. That's maybe sending in a couple of penetrators and keeping them behind, you know, other stuff will be able to make all the difference. I don't know. All I know is these guys will not be able to take on the enemy army by themselves. They are continuing to try to kite us as much as possible, but with the advancing... with all these advancing hovers, we should be able to take on this little fleet relatively easily, I dare say. Although, wait a minute, they do have another carrier coming in, which is going to be quite the pain in the ass, and this carrier can probably just retreat to the safety of all these defensive turrets. If it really wants to anyway. I'm not sure how much good they'll do. This one will be good, but these other ones maybe not quite so much, so... yeah, well. And yeah, as you can see, we're going to be discovering these laser turrets pretty, indeed, pretty head-on, as you can see. Wow, simply incredible. We finally got another Strider for opponents on the bottom right. Good old Warlord, basically going to be able to, yeah, it's basically going to be able to just shell the shit out of us, unless hopefully we can do something about it. Now we had something else happening, okay. Nope, the Starlight did get destroyed actually. Oh no, it's still alive. Okay, and they do have 2 anti-nukes now, which should be... oh no, wait, they got 3 anti-nukes. Well, still getting constructed, but they'll have 3 anti-nukes very soon indeed. And is it going to be... is the anti-defense going to be enough, though, to defend against all these shadows? Because we definitely do know about the Starlight. Let's just zoom in and have a look. So all these shadows come in. I dare say the Starlight probably doesn't stand too much of a chance. In fact, this shadow is bizarre enough to not actually take much anti-air fire on the way in. They did take a bit of anti-air fire from the Cobras, but yeah, by the time the shadows got into range of the Cobras, it was a bit too late anyway, given the whole mass of them coming in at once. Still, not exactly a very good defense by the enemy team. They don't really have much of an air armada of their own to respond with. What they do have though is a couple of Strider units. In fact, they'll probably have the reef finished soon as well. This reef are going to be retreating behind the enemy defences. Some more enemy defences being set up. This is just going to be a massive pain in the fucking ass. Should be careful with this penetrator actually. But oh well, yeah, definitely needs to be retreating, that's for sure. Thankfully those missiles don't really home in too well, so as long as I keep this thing moving, I think I should be alright. It's just getting it to retreat now. And yeah, the reef is going to get repaired a bit as well. Kind of sucks, but yeah, they're going to be delaying us massively. And really, actually, no, never mind. Regos is going to be ignoring that completely. He's actually going to stop this reef from being constructed altogether, most likely. Just needs to destroy the Strider hub and whatever else is building the reef, and there you go. That's it. That's going to destroy their production capacity. For the top left, they're just going to be left with this last holdout here, and that's it. We should hopefully be able to secure the top left for ourselves. So not too shabby indeed. Good use of hovercraft and a very good rush with those ducks before as well. A very good rush indeed. Actually, Regos has even got his own warlord. It doesn't want to get too close to the enemy though. This thing is still meant to be for bombardment. In fact, I don't think we actually have any radar or anything like that. Let's just have a look. Wait a minute, we actually do have, oh yeah, we actually do have radar and sonar stations set up. By the looks of it. How much is it actually revealing though? I don't... actually, I think it is revealing a bit. It's kind of hard to tell, but I think it is actually revealing a bit, so... There you go, I'm trying to rush in with my own scrubbers. Not really sure what the hell I'm thinking versus this sort of defense. I'm not sure what exactly Godo was thinking, putting another stinger directly behind this one. But, oh well. What's Keen do? Good job keeping the reef alive. Look at that, it's next to no health and it's still alive. Incredible, very good marker on that actually, and as you can see they actually are trying to make inroads at the top, sorry not the top, the bottom right as well. Craploads of these sniper submarines, the Serpents basically managing to do quite a bit of damage really. Do have a couple of shadows coming in to destroy them, but okay, not really doing too much damage. In fact we actually got cloak as well, and actually I think the submarines are getting cloaked as well, bizarrely enough. Oh, not bad. Oh, that's the Eraser, who actually... Really? The Eraser can actually walk underwater, despite the fact that he's just a regular boss. Okay, well that is interesting to know. Indeed. Oh, and there goes the reef, finally. There we go, looks like someone from our team, Grolio, has actually got a very similar idea as well with his own Eraser and a whole bunch of ducks as well, so once they get close in they should be able to do quite a bit of damage. We basically managed to conquer the top left except for this little holdout area, but it's just a whole bunch of defences really. The radar's a bit of a pain in the ass there, I'll admit, but really. I dare say we should be right on the top left. The bottom right though, on the other hand, is going to be another matter altogether. These sniper submarines such a pain in the ass, and look at that, we even got Strider units phasing into one another. Wow, that is pretty bad actually. Jesus Christ, that is really bad pathing. So yeah, 2 Strider units for the enemy, bloody aircraft carrier, and a battleship as well, just for the hell of it. Going to be shelling the shit out of us. Definitely going to make our position a bit untenable. We do have a screamer set up at the very least for anti-air, but these carrier drones are essentially free and they can just keep on coming in. Doesn't really matter too much, but we do have... Actually, is this ours? Yes, it is. Yes, we finally have our own counter-strike coming in, and we might actually be able to destroy at least the carrier, maybe. Man, it's timelines like these that I wish the bloody scrubber had a higher rate of fire, but I suppose it does fire its own little Gauss cannon, which can do, well, they can shoot through multiple units, so I suppose there's that to consider. I think this reef, it might actually get killed off though. The Warlord, probably not, and probably just as well that the reef was targeted instead, given the difference in hit points, but yeah, good job actually going after the reef, and I think just a couple more shots will be able to take it out. Unfortunately, tech ammo is able to keep it alive just barely, though, just freaking barely. Fucking ridiculous. And yep, he's going to be repairing it, that much is certain. So yeah, definitely giving us a run for our money. On the bottom right, we've got a whole bunch of singularity reactors. Wait a minute, something else do we? No? Never mind, I thought we had something else, but we got a Leviathan? Really? I suppose it can launch tactical nukes, but okay, I'm not really sure what the point of that was exactly. I mean, he can also act as an anti-nuke, but that's what he can do. He shoots tactical nukes, should I say, and act as an anti-nuke, a short-range anti-nuke. Better than nothing, I guess, but yeah, well, I'm not sure if I agree with that. I mean, if the enemy team flies over this, they're not going to see the Leviathan, but they're going to see the Strider hubs. They're probably going to think, you know, especially right next to a body of water, that there's probably going to be a hidden Leviathan, or maybe not actually, you never know. In any case, we also had a nice little... Okay, this is something you don't see too often. Actually, we've got a sharpshooter in the water. Interesting. All these units, I can walk underwater that I could swear we shouldn't have been able to. Well, in any case, we do have a nice little rush of scrubbers coming in as well by Regos, not really being able to do too much damage, but at the same time we are managing to get a nice little wall set up as well, and even, well, instead of a wall here, we've actually just got a little canal being set up, maybe for our own naval units to get through, but the thing is, we don't actually have our own, well, okay, except for the reef, we don't actually have our own naval units. Okay, never mind, we've got another reef and another warlord there. Okay, except for them, we don't have anything else. Indeed, except for all that. I wonder if they can fire over this wall. I'm not sure, to be honest. Well, I'm pretty sure the reef can. Maybe the battleship can as well, if it's far back enough to be able to, just arc its shots over. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. All these singularity reactors we got as well right next to each other. So I doubt they have better eco as well. Actually, I haven't even looked at the eco. Team 1, which I think is us. Yep, Team 1 would be sub. Yeah, our metal economy is quite a bit above theirs, not by too much in the grand scheme of things. Our energy is also above theirs as well, so they have it. I think we've got some missiles coming in as well. Unfortunately, not really doing too much damage there, but still this thing can reload its missiles for free, so just keep that in mind. Got a sharpshooter commander as well by a pos. Let's see what exactly he's got here. Light particle beam, horse rifle, upgraded to a shock rifle, advanced targeting system, personal cloak. Okay, let's just have a look at its range. Well, that's a nice little range. I probably should have had a look at the raw stats actually. Yep, 1020, not too shabby, and the auto particle beam isn't too bad either actually, which is presumably just for close in defense. And he's right next to this catapult, which I think is actually ours, by Greybeard, yes. So yeah, very interesting forming this little wall and canal here. I'm not really sure how much of a difference it's really going to make. The enemy is actually going to be walling off as well. They're actually going to be condemning these structures and this Commander Junior to death, and this other bit of infrastructure. Not that really matters too much, there's only just a gunship plant anyway and a couple of defences set up and all that. Still, that would be nice to destroy it, which hopefully we'll be doing at some point. Got crap loads of penetrators now. There we go. We're going to be destroying, presumably the commander. I thought he was already dead. Apparently not. I don't think they can get to the gunship plant, but really we can just send something else against that to destroy it relatively easily. So we'll just see how that works out. The canal at the very least will allow our super units, our Strider naval units, should I say, to actually come in and provide a bit of fire support. But we're going to need something else most likely to perform the killing blow, and I believe that something is the Starlight, and there you have it. We've actually got our own Starlight. Gotta love this thing. Bam. Just gotta love it indeed. And as you can see, it's got a ridiculous amount of range. Just zoom out actually. Yeah, it's got well, actually there is a tiny corner of the map which we can't actually reach, but really, given its range, it can basically destroy everything, and it can do so with impunity. As you can see, it's kind of like the particle cannon from Command and Conquer Generals, and as you can see, it can actually terraform terrain as well. It's well, it's called a planetary chisel. That's the little blurb that's there for it. So I think the actual description for it says that it can be used for terraforming and, of course, for clearing away obstacles such as enemy bases and units. And as you can see, it doesn't do such a bad little job. It's wow, actually, yeah, it does do crap loads of damage. A bit tricky to kind of tell where it's aiming at. Okay, actually, it is not too easy to tell where it's aiming at. Just have to notice when exactly the beam becomes transparent, and that's actually where it's hitting on the water. So there's that. And I'm presuming the way to aim it is just by clicking on the chisel itself, and then most likely just clicking A, and then just getting it to attack the ground, and presumably just continuously keeps attacking. And by the looks of it, it doesn't actually have a power requirement either, bizarrely enough. Got a couple of Aegises just in case if they're trying to do something against us, but I dare say it should be right. Look at that, it can just down goes that chisel. Oh my god, it can just sweep that beam across so freaking quickly, it's bloody ridiculous. You just gotta love this thing. It's not quite as spectacular as a nuclear explosion, although it did take out a couple of, let's see, Moho geothermal power plants, which do create nuclear-like explosions. The enemy team is going to be resigning. But there you go, we actually did get to see some heavy stuff on the field, and I believe this is the first time I've actually seen the Starlight in action as well. As you can see, an incredible unit. There's not really anything you can do to counter it once it's built, apart from maybe trying to keep your stuff spread out as much as possible, and of course, just trying to destroy the Starlight as quickly as possible. But as you can see, its beam does actually sweep around pretty quickly, much more quickly than one would think. So there you have it. Good game, damn good ending, and yeah, I'll see you all next time.